Well, yeah, this is
Unless
true. If
someone
we
just
all
wants
have
to
enough
see
drinks
'em,
together,
'cause I don't
eventually
care.
someone's gonna get naked.
I don't know about all that. But...
Yeah.
We'll put bets on it.
I'll get naked if anyone wants. I don't care.
All right.
Welcome to the podcast number 51. This is the Form Third podcast number 51, not just the podcast number 51. I am your
The
host,
podcast.
Doc Andre, and here with me today, I've got these wonderful people. Beginning
Get
with Mr.
out!
Fusion.
Get out!
Don't really. We really
Okay,
want
looks
your
like the
attention.
podcast is over now.
Now everybody's gonna leave.
Hello, everybody.
Oops.
Nobod,
Hi. Wow.
Miss Ray.
Fuck you, Dark.
Aw, maybe later. Chaos Mana.
Hello.
Uh-huh. He's thinking about Ray fucking me later.
No.
Uh-huh. And Tejan Lee.
Hi.
All right, so I'm going to ask the hard question that's been on everybody's mind for the last 5 minutes. What the hell is Homestar Runner?
That's a good
Wow.
See, you're like the second
I have
oldest
no
on this
idea.
podcast. I would have thought you know.
I know what
Homestar
it is like crazy. It was like
Never seen it?
it's pointed
I don't
at
believe
like
it. If,
It's
It was
if
a
we
web
pulled
show
something
before
up,
there
you
were
would've-
web shows.
If we pulled something up, you'd be like, "Oh, that
It's a
thing."
web show?
yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was the original
Flash-based
kind of one of the first actually sort of web series. It started out as just a kind of different animations, and then the one that took off was Strong Bad Emails, which you send an email and then they come up with a hilarious response to it, which is like a 2-minute to 4-minute animation. And now there quickly became like now there's 205 of them, and then they kind of dropped off about a year or 4 years ago. I can't remember the exact date. It was really good though.
It's really clever, and it's probably one of the initial things. Like again, it was a huge inspiration for people back then to create
Yeah.
content on the web, and they were kind of one of the people that started doing
And
that.
I don't know
early
if you
on.
guys remember the website Newgrounds, the Flash-based website. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I have an
That's where a
account
lot of
there.
these shows started. Well, they weren't even shows; they were just Flash. I guess you could say just shorts, and that's what early 2000s when the internet exploded. That's when they became popular, and this was one of them that really had a longevity and a large following to it. So, and actually, if you listen to some of the documentaries on Rooster Teeth, Bernie basically brings up how when Red versus Blue exploded, he saw the potential in merchandising, and because that's where Homestar Runner and Penny Arcade were able to sustain themselves, was through
Oh
merchandising.
yeah, they have a nice
online.
shop.
So,
He talked about shirts being
Exactly.
internet currency
Yeah.
at that point. You know.
so it's. I mean,
Huh.
I give it a watch. Go watch a few of the shorts. They're pretty funny.
You have to watch the Strong Bad
Yeah.
anime email. That's probably the funniest video. I've seen
The main
on
thing
that
is
website.
he hasn't.
Cartoons are weird.
The update-
Japanese
the site
cartoon,
hasn't been
man.
updated in almost 4 years.
No
and out of the blue
way.
on April Fools, it just pops
You're
up.
just a kid.
So.
It's like, oh, by the way,
Really
we're
small mouth when
updating.
it's closed. Ridiculously huge when he's open.
These are guys that were like, early internet, kind of like Maddox was, E-Bomb's World. That
They also did a couple
E-Bombs World.
real life shorts as well.
thing.
Like puppets was.
Like,
one
what
of
do you
the
think that
things.
guy's doing now?
I have no
Homestar guy.
idea.
Wasn't Penny Arcade, because a lot of people don't realize how long they've been around, since what, 98? That's
98,
crazy.
Was the
I
internet
have actually
even
I
existing
never
back
read that
then?
comic.
Yes, it did.
Oh my god.
There was
did.
it was a very different internet back then, and I'm not joking when I say it
that
wasn't
when you
as
created it?
filthy. It wasn't as filthy as it is now.
It was pretty filthy.
No, not with dial-up. It didn't have the capability to be that filthy. And then once broadband became pretty much the standard, then that's when the filth.
Yeah,
The
because you had to
floodgates
like
opened.
think. You had to
I'll give you
think
that.
about
It
what
was-
you
you
were
could find
going
porn
to
anywhere.
download.
It was dirty
because you would be
before.
sitting there for
Yeah,
like
it was.
minutes
You
at a time.
either can wait a whole week to download a video that was in a poor quality, small resolution video, or you can just go ahead and jerk it to a picture. So it's like, I think I'm gonna go with the picture.
Picture one.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah,
time.
that's why Gavin like saved every single RVB from
Yeah.
the beginning, because it was like this really hard thing to download it back then, and now he has like the complete archive, so that when they've lost videos before, they've actually had to go to him, who has the complete thing, because they didn't. really have
Dark's
many
been on the
saves of
site
like
as long
certain
as
things.
I have, and here, is it 7 years or 9? It's not 9. Okay.
Seven.
Okay.
You
Well,
will
the
never
first
be
the
on the
first
site as long
couple
as you
the
have.
first couple of years, YouTube wasn't around, and when you purchased when you had a paid sponsorship, you got the videos early, but you had a choice of downloading, and you had to download in either Windows Media version or QuickTime, and it was the old right click and save, and you had a high res and low res version, and once they removed them off of the server, if you were a paid sponsor, you had access to all the content. But if you weren't a paid sponsor, they kind of rolled in and out. And I remember that. And Gavin's right, because in those early days, I had like the first 3 seasons saved on a hard drive, and I was so upset when they crashed, when that hard drive crashed, because I couldn't.
Oh, actually, you're right. I did the same thing. My first 2 years, I actually saved every I was a sponsor, so I saved the sponsor HD version. I actually burned some of them to DVDs so I could watch them myself before I actually purchased the DVDs.
And it's funny because like Gavin said, he kept everything, and Gavin was smart enough to back it up or whatever. But I had all of the videos on a hard drive, a secondary drive, and when that drive crashed, I couldn't recover those videos, so they were gone. So I think like Chaos is right. Gavin's like the only person that has every single original episode.
Probably the only person they
Yeah.
know and they can count on.
Well,
I'm sure
that and
somebody,
has like the
somebody
most
else out there.
complete
That's
drive.
true.
I mean, he did like even direct it, so he might have more different files of.
Well, I'm sure he has a
certain
bunch
things.
of raw video too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he has tons of. Just because he works in the slow mo guys, like 50 terabyte hard drives for the slow
I'm
motion
sure he
camera.
does.
So how long did it take you guys to get off dial-up?
No
when you were
time at
younger?
all.
You were 8 when broadband came around.
Let's
so.
see. I graduated high school. This is how old I am. I graduated in 1996 from high school. That's when I got my first computer.
born.
I was in 4th grade.
And
I was
let's
born.
see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think here.
So it's just
No,
made
it
you
doesn't make
feel
me feel
old.
old. I don't give a shit. I'm still cooler than all of you. So,
Sure.
This is true.
I
Not gonna lie, that's pretty true.
I graduated from high school in '96. The first time I got broadband was in an apartment in 2000, late 2000. My roommate and I, Time Warner Cable in Austin, started releasing it out commercially, and it was still pretty expensive. So I think it was like $100 a month for broadband, but we split that. So, yeah. So it was 2000 is when I jumped onto broadband.
I didn't switch to broadband until 2006. Right after I graduated high school. I didn't have wireless or fast speed internet until college. Until I went to college. So it was glorious.
Did you see in the Twitch feed, Lozelda's like, you said 1996 and I felt super young. Good for you, Lozelda. Good for you.
Yeah, so God, man, it's crazy because I remember when I was a kid going, you had Prodigy, CompuServe, those dial-up companies, and AOL, and AOL was the easiest one to use. So, and then in the early years of AOL, they didn't have the unlimited; they had blocked time, so it was very expensive back then to use dial-up and to use AOL. And then, like somewhere around '95, I think, or '96, they broke out into the unlimited for like $29.99 a month. Can you believe that? $30 a month for
That's crazy.
dial-up internet, and that's when the max in '96, I think, was like $14K.
Does anyone
Are
still
there
have
still
one of
people
those
out there with
AOL
that?
discs?
I think there was
I
a
wish.
guy that
God, I remember getting those constantly through the mail. That was so
I think there was a
stupid.
guy in Austin that had an entire like a house, just his walls were just covered with CDs, like AOL CDs. Yeah.
When did Comcast and Time Warner start up and come into the internet world?
I don't know exactly, but I
Good
remember it was like
question.
2000 when we found out. And this is funny. This is again shows how old I am. In 1990, early 97, I had moved back to Houston for a semester, and I was sitting. I remember this. I was sitting at a restaurant with my girlfriend at the time, and I had this. I had a tech magazine, a Houston Business Journal magazine, where they talked about broadband internet, and it was funny because we were sitting there. I remember this. We were sitting there, and I was reading out the speeds, and they had no idea what I was talking about. And I said, well, it's like 150 times the speed of modem internet. And but the problem is that there isn't a commercial setup to where at home users have access to this. It's mostly, I mean, it's not commercial, personal use. It's commercial based at this point, and they're talking about it being a possibility where you can get broadband at home. And someone at the table said, "Psst, "Yeah, right. That's never going to happen." I remember that. I mean, God.
Ye with
Yeah,
little
because they
faith.
talked about
Yeah,
the
it's
cost.
doubters out
funny
there.
people that think things are just quick fads. Like, why would you want these things to go away? Why would you want to discount these epic things?
It's like the internet is maybe for porn, but it's here to stay.
Oh man.
Although the ability for us to have free access to it and all of its wonderful content is still in flux
Yeah.
right now. What's the term for that? Not free internet, but you know the thing, the debate that's going on
Net
because
neutrality?
of Comcast. Net neutrality, that's the word. Yes, still raging on those.
There was
fuckers.
I thought there was a city in maybe the Oriental that like the entire town has free Wi-Fi now.
Well, in Europe, a lot of cities will have free Wi-Fi, but it does come at a cost because their governments are very restrictive. Like Turkey, they're blocking Twitter and Facebook right now, and
I did
yeah,
not know
in
that.
some countries they'll block specific certain sites
Yeah.
and certain programs. But yeah,
Yeah, in Turkey, there's over 10 million Twitter users that have been locked out of their accounts because they cannot access it.
Wait, locked out of the accounts or just the
They
website
can access the
connected
website.
to it?
They can't access it. Right, so they have no access to their account. 10 million Twitter users cannot access Twitter from Turkey.
and then North Korea, they're very
I wonder what their
on
last
websites,
tweets
too.
were.
Hopefully, it was something good. I thought the same thing with with China.
Just a
when
lot of people tweeting fuck.
Fuck no Twitter.
I would have liked it to have been like they were telling a story over multiple tweets, and just as they were about to finish it, they got locked out. So it's just
No, they were all
The
complaining about
never-ending
the
cliffhanger.
series finale of How I Met Your Mother. They were all bitching about it, so they just shut them down.
Probably.
That's what
The
did, just
confirmation
like
tweet
everyone
of
else
Half-Life
bitching about
3.
it.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never followed the show. My friend Danny, she was always telling me, this show is so funny, you'll probably love it. And every episode that I've ever watched, I thought, yeah, it's okay. If I had nothing else to watch, I would definitely watch this, but I never thought it was
Oh, it's a good
fantastic.
show.
It's you're going to eat those words because you're going to start watching it. You're going to watch a couple in a row. And you're really going to get attached to the characters, and you're like, okay, no, you need that like one
Yeah.
really good episode that
There's-
just hooks you, and then all the other episodes are that much funnier because
well, how long does it take
in
for
jokes
that
and all that
first
stuff.
episode to arrive?
watch the first episode.
The first episode is hook worthy.
I
yeah.
thought it was, but
Apparently.
it's not for everyone.
It was love at first episode for Tejan Lee. So were you pissed off when you saw the finale?
No, I actually really liked it. I was
Mr.
totally,
I was
totally
fine
satisfied.
with it. I mean, I didn't have any complaints. I think people were complaining just because they didn't like the results of the show, and I mean the finale. Here's the thing with it.
I just don't
it's
think
not
they
even
got
that
it.
they got it.
I mean,
The problem was as the way that, and we're not spoiling
felt
it, folks,
gypped.
but the way the show ended,
We could.
it bummed people out only because of the fact that it went on too long. 9 seasons was too much. Had this ending happened after season 4, no one would have had a problem with it. No one would have. But I think
if season 9 was 13 episodes instead of 23 episodes, I think it probably been a little more easy to digest because you waited
and
all
we could talk about
season
season 9 because it doesn't spoil everything. But season 9 is this was kind of a they really wanted to end the show at the end of season 8, but then CBS begged them to do a 9th season and offered to pay them a shitload of money. So they did a season 9, and this whole season takes place. There's a lot of flashbacks with the show. There's a lot of inside jokes and flashbacks, and the problem.
Kind of like the last episode of Friends.
Yeah. But here's the thing with season 9: it's 20 episodes, but it takes place in the span of 2 days, and it's a wedding that takes place on a weekend, and that's the whole season. And I think it pretty much just wore people out. On top of the fact that the show went on too long, so at the end you're just, I didn't like the ending. I didn't like it. You know.
I think if you watch season 9 in bulk in one sit down, it probably would have been much easier. But I think it was interesting that the experimentation, especially if you take what happened in 2 days and then the very last episode, which spanned over 16
I think that
years.
acceleration also
that was really interesting.
It's kind of
it's like a summary episode rather than just a finale.
It's almost the show is almost like Breaking Bad in that it can be exhausting if you get too emotionally invested in it, which the show is not meant to be that way. It's meant to be relatable, like the circumstances of their lives is relatable, and the ending, even though it was hated, is relatable. And I think the criticism is funny.
I think it's entirely relatable. It really had that. This is kind of how real life works.
Yeah.
Like there's not always happy endings.
It's not always.
There are tragedies after these characters.
It's not the
TV
fairy tale
anymore.
ending, right?
Like they still have lives. Yeah, and it's just like even that last scene, you're just like, there's so much story there, and there's so much hope, and these people just trying to live their lives, and the heart wants what it wants. That's how I sum it up to people. How it turned out in the end, and that's how I found it interesting. I enjoy that we're very vague about it.
Aw, that's so
we
adorable.
We have to be very vague about it.
Did you cry at the end?
No, my girlfriend cried. She was in my arms and she's just bawling, and I'm just sitting there. I'm sucking the tears back into my eyes. I'm like, no, I am a man. No, I was genuinely sad. Like, sad the show was over. There were sad moments. I felt emotions about it, but then I had weeping.
No.
Did you? No.
No, Mr. Fusion's got
You're a former professional wrestler, so you don't cry.
That's the reality. I'm dead inside.
So do we want to talk about something everybody else can talk about?
Yeah.
Did you guys see the immersion episode?
It's awesome.
The what?
Nope.
The immersion episode.
I'm waiting on David.
Oh, you two haven't seen it yet. I think you should both mute and go watch it real quick and then come back.
Well, no, because unless we showed it in the middle of the stream, that'd be fine.
We'll all be quiet and watch.
Yeah.
No.
It's kind of how often when immersion was going in the other seasons, how often do they actually release it?
Every week. They filmed
right
everything.
Now it's
then
one episode almost half a year ago about the race car track, and then finally another one.
Okay, so can someone clue me in as to what the hell we're actually talking about now?
Have you ever seen Rooster Teeth's show Immersion?
I've heard of it, but I have no idea what the context is. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so it's basically a
How
show.
are you an RT fan?
They produce a show where they do experiments based off video game, based off things that go off in video games. Like they did this thing where they did a third-person driving game. Like, you know how in Grand Theft Auto, when you're driving, you're always in third person. So they did an experiment to see if that's possible for a person to do. That was the very first episode of Immersion, and they just did experiments like that. I strongly suugest you go watch it because it's probably their most unique show.
When you really are holding every single weapon you pick up in the game.
Or if food heals you, they got him super drunk.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I need to.
You get to see Gus's bear.
I'm looking it up right now.
Or I think one of the most technological ones is the Mario side screen view, where they put on this kind of face thing, which you can then view yourself running as if you were in a Mario game. So
how do I find this on the internet?
Go to redversusblue.com and type in immersion.
Yeah, it's literally on roosterteeth.com.
So much.
Okay.
Or YouTube.
So why are you on RT Dark?
Yeah, you don't watch any of their content.
He just has a guild.
I used to.
Why do you exist here?
How did we?
Do you ever wonder why we're
been here nearly from the beginning.
No, it doesn't matter how long you've been here. You don't watch any of their shit. Why are you here?
Obviously for the community, dumb nuts.
Yes, because y'all sound so
There's
loving.
other communities. It makes no sense.
So much of the community is based around the content that they produce, so half the time you don't know what anybody's talking about.
We're such a welcoming in community. You know, a couple weeks ago, Zelda's shitting all over a guy in the chat.
You don't have to watch every single show. Like, you could be in the community because you're a big fan of just RVB. That's how I started. I was only joining because I was a fan of RVB, Fails of the Week, and Achievement Horse.
He didn't even know what it was. That's what we find amusing. He had no idea what it was.
Yeah, once they started branching off and doing all sorts of other weird things, I just kind of lost interest in their projects.
Hipster.
I mean, that's how I got into it too.
Yeah, what can I say? Yeah, once they started doing things other than Red versus Blue, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm kind of
but you're not
this,
like
but
you're
I'm
not
already invested
angry
in the
about
community,
it.
so.
You might not like all their shows. Like the Nature Town show they attempted to start was like, eh. So they have ones that don't go quite as well, and other ones that go quite as well. So anything that pops up, watch the first 2 episodes, see if you like it. If not, you can just, put that one off.
He did watch
on the side.
Ruby, Ray. Give him some credit. Jesus.
Yeah, and I did watch the Strangerhood, which I enjoyed and wished they would have made a second one because they said it was season 1, but they never did. I'm like, oh, sorry.
They're gonna do it. They keep talking about it. I'm pretty sure they're.
Well, now that
it's in the works.
Okay, and you guys, I'm sure you know that they're moving into a large studio, right? The old Austin Airport.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well,
The airport itself.
That's
no,
pretty
I'm
exciting.
not.
There's
There's these huge hangars that have been converted into movie studios. The Austin Film Society, I think, they've spearheaded this where they got funding to renovate them, and Rooster Teeth is taking one of those hangars.
Not a closed hangar.
And they've turned it into their new office. So, but I think this will also enable them to have a large set, and I think Matt has mentioned in the past this idea of doing a full-length motion picture. That would be cool.
Yeah, I think he mentioned that at the last RTX.
What would it be about? Would it be like a full-length, like live?
No, I think it's original content, but they just didn't have
I'm pretty sure.
the ability, like a set and all that, to do what they wanted to do. They would have to shoot on location,
Joel better be the president or like some form of.
Well, I mean, and you guys know this, but based on what they've said, they're not a company that like to get into debt. They like to operate through their cash balance. They don't.
Well, yeah, that's just good business.
Don't try to step out far
but like 99% of businesses don't operate that way. But
well, yeah, and most of them go bankrupt.
Because they try things.
I think with this, giving them a large set enables them to do more in terms of shooting, live action. So hopefully they'll have something out like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm really interested in the stuff that they're planning on bringing out. I saw a couple samples at the last RTX, and they can put out some really, really awesome, funny shorts. And I'm really interested to see where they can take that creativity and apply it to an actual, even at a full-length movie, not a full 2 hours, but even something like a half-hour long.
A feature
short film. Yeah,
I thought
feature film.
Standard,
like that.
I thought the standard movie length was an hour and a half.
I don't know.
Oh, there's no real
I think it's an
standards,
hour
but that's what everybody
and
expects.
15 minutes is where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Be considered full length. But you know that I've technically been on the site for 9 years, but I did duck in and out for a while. Actually, the shorts are what brought me back full, on a regular basis.
He likes shorts.
I really enjoyed the shorts.
Especially in Texas.
Yeah.
They're comfy and easy
Shorts
to
are
wear.
great.
The shorts.
Yep.
Yeah. I can say it wasn't the content that brought me back. I always intended on coming back after I took my couple of year hiatus and got the internet and everything. But it was just the wanting that online community and that sense, the same sense that I had before. I always enjoyed the videos separate from the actual community itself. Like they were on the same website, but I enjoyed them separately from each other. So it just feels like a natural extension of that. Even though I'm not watching so much of the content anymore, I'm still really involved in the community here, and I like the community for what it is, and I like the videos and stuff that they produce for what they are, but not necessarily together.
So you guys have been around for years. How many people from those years ago? You both said you did
I've been around
hiatuses.
for years.
How many people from before then are you still in contact with?
Very few.
Only about 5. Pretty much everyone else is gone.
I mean, there are some that are still on my friends list on the site that haven't logged on in years.
Yeah, I like how like half the list of 90s and below is
Probably more than that.
people that are like inactive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I cleaned up my friends list after I came back a few years ago, and I wound up having to get rid of over half of everybody because they hadn't. I said to myself, anyone that has not logged into the site in over 2 years is instantly gone. And then after that, anyone that hasn't logged in a year, if were particularly a good friend of mine, then I would leave you just on the hope, or leave you there just on the hopes that you would come back. But everyone else just got cut. So most of the friends list just disappeared.
I'm looking through it right now, trying to find some of the really old ones.
Yeah. One of the friends that I'm still friends with, though she's not on very often, is Nudge One, and her fiance. No, she got married. And Fade One. She's a fantastic artist, and we swapped a lot of art stuff back and forth, and actually purchased one of her paintings, and so she's still on my list here.
Interesting. I'm looking through.
They had when they got married, they invited me to the wedding, but I was not in a financially stable place to fly out to the UK for their wedding. But
they didn't expect you to go at all.
So if we invite you to the wedding, Dark.
It was fantastic though. It was like Renaissance themed, and so anyone invited by the bride had to wear the bride's colors. Anyone invited by the groom had to wear the groom's colors, but you also had to go in costume because it was a medieval Renaissance theme, and they provided foam weapons for anyone who wanted to spar with each other there
during the wedding.
During the wedding, or at the wedding, and they had their wedding inside one of the castles. So they had the full. Yeah, it was the full thing, and I so wanted to go, but just for the plane ticket for myself would have been $2,000, and I just couldn't do it.
It's quite a few bits.
That's a lot of dollars.
That's a lot of dollars. I couldn't spend.
What server are you on right now, Chaos?
Mine Z.
Because someone's getting their ass kicked by zombies.
Yeah.
Zombies are not friendly.
Someone's trying to gank you right now.
Good message.
I think it's funny how many like threads and other stuff are just kind of lost to the back burner. Like you go and look at the first like 7 pages or 7 sections, and there's like all these threads, which some of them had many posts and stuff like way before the groups were created, and just how much it's changed. I wonder who has been around. I think most active still is Stranger Cougar. It's like the second level 99.
Yeah. I noticed a big change in the community itself. Oh yeah, I'm in several threads that he's in. He's also on my friends list, but I wasn't friends with him until like a few years after I had started. But I noticed that a big change in the community itself before I went on my hiatus, because we're all using the threads as groups, and so you'd get these threads that would only have the same few people posting in them. So you'd have like the same 10-15 people posting in the same thread, and you'd sometimes be really hostile to outsiders that wanted to join.
Not cool.
I did notice that happening when I
cool.
was first on the site.
Oh, that happens all the frickin' time.
So the moderators were constantly locking threads that were acting as like these group hubs, and so
Kinda
when
like
the groups were actually when the groups were actually created, it was a neat change, but at the same time, no one really knew how to react to it because you'd never had a label before. You're like, well, what do we call ourselves? And then when the stats didn't actually count towards your progress in the site or anything, like, well, this is really weird. And like everything just kind of changed after that point in time. I don't know if I don't want to say it was a bad change, but it was just a different change, and a lot of people just didn't know how to react to it, and so a lot of people wound up leaving. Yeah, anytime you change something, even if it's not a bad change, like, people will just leave because they're afraid of change. Like, no, I want what's safe and comfortable.
Yeah, I think that they should stop complaining just because it's been changing, because that's just end up happening. And like, for example, right now they finally, granted, it has taken longer than I feel it should have, but at the same time,
are you talking about flood control?
Yeah, the flood control.
Or just the entire site rehash.
Control. Yeah, I actually have started like enjoying myself on the site again because I can go from thread to thread to thread, and
I don't have to gamble which post should I make before I wait 5 more minutes?
Yeah, is the site gonna eat my post?
After I found out that if you previewed your post, you could just go back page and then it would never get deleted.
Yeah.
It was still a timer, either from anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes sometimes if you posted in more than one thread. It was kind of this formula. I never got I'm glad I didn't have to get too far into figuring out the science behind when it's going to try to steal the post.
The worst thing ever was getting ready to post something and to see the message posted in 2 minutes. You're like, motherfucker. This thing it's technically posted, but the system's not going to register it as posted for another 2 minutes. And so I can't do damn shit on this site but sit here and twiddle my thumbs. Yes. So yeah, I'm very, very happy that they finally got that shit figured out, because that was just annoying.
Now there's just the problem
of
a
round of applause for all the Rooster Teeth people.
Deleting our
round of applause.
Group pages, so you can't even look at the list of all the threads. I think I found it happening in one of the other ones as well. And what the heck?
I got an incoming call from Zach.
Zach and Webwave are Zach and Webwave are simultaneously trying to join.
No, that's just the other call. I think he was just
they're
calling
trying to
from
join our call.
They're calling all of us. How is this physically?
Oh, what retards!
So they started the call.
They should know better than to do that. Shame on both of you. Go away.
Are we letting them in?
No.
No. If we were going to let them in, they would have to ask
to
be let in, not try to call us.
Yeah. No.
What if they are
they can
recording?
They have to tell us that they're recording, and then from there we judge whether or not we can let them in. But
that's right.
You don't just call us.
It's up to the Master Fusion.
Master Fusion? Ray, are you sucking up? Are you so afraid that he doesn't like you that you're sucking up now?
No, he's editing. I don't give a fuck. He's editing.
It's also kind of a play on Mr.
If David
Fusion.
was editing, I say it
just
up to Master David.
Fusion.
I prefer Supreme Overlord.
Right.
Thank you very much. I'm going to say thumbs down. Solely for the fact that we are 36 minutes in, and no.
And they're gone.
I still...
What
I
word?
won't say
The word
love
you just
guys because
used?
I don't use that word, but I don't... Can't
What?
I can't
You
say
love us.
I can't say
It's okay.
respect because
Spread
I
the
don't.
Aw.
You guys are still all right with me. How's that? Sorry, gentlemen, but you're still all right with
In
me.
other words,
One of them is only
You
your
gotta hit
moderators.
me up. You gotta hit us
Just
up
can't bring
before
himself to say it.
midway through a cast. That's just not cool. I don't give a fuck what he
Who's
is.
the moderator? Oh, the Webwave?
Yeah.
he may be a thread moderator, but is he gonna be bouncing
That's
people
what I'm
out
saying,
at RTX? I don't think so.
He's an RTX moderator. There's guardians and then there's moderators.
Is there a difference this time?
Who
I
knows?
think there is.
I loved the
think
discussion earlier about the red shirts and how you guys are about to be pretty expendable if you're
Yeah.
wearing the red shirts again. I mean, if Star Trek taught us anything.
Are you gonna? Is it gonna be
That's right.
funny to do all the new changes? Because each time it's like either a big expansion or better rules. So each time they're slowly improving. So
well, on top of that,
hopefully it'll be
the
nice.
head count goes up pretty significantly too.
How many people are going to be there this year?
What, 15 and 20, I think? Yeah.
Holy shit, man.
Remember, 4 years ago, there were what? 600 tickets?
500.
Okay, then
You
you don't have,
only
you don't have
supposed
to
to be
come.
200.
I don't like people.
Well, at
Too
each
bad.
time
Good excuse.
they get better at line control and crowd control.
David
Yeah,
already
it's not
bought my
much.
ticket.
It's like
I have to come.
$86. It's not
What?
much.
The ticket doesn't cost that much. You can say, sorry, David, kiss
It's
my
like
ass.
$80.
Dude, they're
What the
they're
fuck are
pretty
you talking
pricey
about?
right now. Holy shit.
a day of
They
work.
Still not
went
that
from
much.
It's
30
it's not
to
that
50
you
to
have
80.
you have to.
It's expensive for a lot of people.
Ah,
If you
darn
look
it.
at if you look at travel costs that it takes to get down there, like the cost of the ticket's like the least
But
expensive
you know,
thing
this is
about
what boggles
the
my
sure,
mind is
but if the least
a lot
expensive
of
thing
these,
is
a lot of
$80.
these people are going also. Some went to the ECC that went on last week. Some are going to PAX Prime and PAX East, and it's like, where the hell do they get this money? I mean, seriously, like, you
Yeah, I
know,
would like to know that.
Different people have
Give
different
me some of
lifestyles.
it.
I mean, well,
Damn.
maybe it's
Who
different
knows?
because I have, mortgages and 401ks and all that crap to deal with. But I even still, just with the flights alone to going to all these events, it's just, I mean,
Some people just have it going for them. I mean,
no, I'm
that's
not.
good for
I'm
them.
not saying that they suck asshole or anything. I'm just saying,
Those
That's just
fucking
what they
rich
do to
people.
have
it's
to
just
pay
like,
for it.
Okay, I mean, good for them if they can do it. And just like, really, okay, all right, well, fuck it, I mean, just me personally, I would probably go somewhere like, a vacation on an island instead of, and maybe go to another con in that same year. Not going to 6 cons in one year. That just sounds a little.
That is a bit crazy.
Yeah, I would do something else. Kind of mix it up a little bit. I could only deal with con funk so many times before I'm worn out.
Well, it's not. At least it's
Yeah.
not. I've never really had it too bad. Like I've never not smelt. It's not been when I'm walking around.
The worst
in,
con funk is
RTX.
Comic Con. That is.
Yeah, because it seems like
Yeah,
I heard Dragon
the
Con.
epitome
the
of unwashed masses
RT
there.
community is a little more hygienic, I guess. At least it was
Only
slight.
because we have all these public service announcements before reminding everyone to wash and wear deodorant. If we didn't do that, I'm sure it would be just as smelly.
Yeah, that's not gonna last long though, will it?
Well, I'll make sure David's
I'm
clean
sure you
before
will.
RTX. Don't worry.
double.
Well, if he's sleeping next to me, he better be fucking clean. I'm not dealing with
You
that
better be
shit.
clean, then get dirty, then clean
She's got
again, right?
Such
I know,
lofty
right?
standards.
Well, I make sure I'm clean.
She's got a sign ready for the bedroom that says no schmegma. So,
She'll do a thorough
I'm sure she
inspection
will.
ahead of time. Like, no,
It's
no,
gotta
no,
shine.
no, wash this thing.
Oh
again.
no, those things can like
It
take
has
off
to be.
fingers.
It has to be squeaky.
never
she has
Don't
a
even.
power washer.
Don't even.
I know they can do
Dirty,
that.
so I
I'm
don't know what
just.
you're talking about.
I'm kidding. Yes, I know. I know what a power washer is capable of. Yes, I know.
They can take oil off the driveway.
I've blasted the oil off of my driveway. Yes, I know what they can do.
Wait, oil off
Around
your
your
driveway. Oh,
manhood
you
is a
mean
good
car?
The way you're saying it, it sounds like you've accidentally run into a problem with one of those.
Actually, I
It
have
can
on my
actually,
foot.
snap
Not
the
pleasant,
bone too,
trust me.
or the joints, and it can
Yeah,
take
it,
off a
like, blows
toe.
your skin.
Ow!
Yeah.
Do that.
Oh no, we have a pressure washer. That just sounds
Yeah,
scary.
it can actually. Yeah, it can.
Just
it
don't
can
point it
totally-
at yourself,
basically it can
moron.
cut through a bone. Yes.
Oh yeah, what?
Are you afraid to use a
I'm
firearm?
afraid to use our pressure washer now.
Water is
Goddamn.
powerful.
Just don't aim it at yourself, and you'll be
Ray, do
okay.
you- I have to ask
This
this.
thing scares me. It's loud, and I
Ray,
like aim everywhere.
you
It's
have
awful.
anxiety, right?
Yeah, what I'm hearing
Okay.
is you don't allow
Very
Ray
bad.
anywhere
Now,
near
is there
power
anything
tools.
else?
It's
Is
just-
is there anything else like any phobias? I'm not asking so I can embellish on those phobias. I'm just curious.
At RTX, the next theme is
Not
spiders.
really. I have
Clowns.
this random OCD about like making sure
That's
things are off
OCD,
and
that's
stuff. That's
fine.
about it.
Most people are OCD. Well,
So
no,
she'll
because
be at
most
RTX
people have some
wondering if
form
she
of
left the
OCD
stove on.
nowadays, just because we're raised on refined sugars and caffeine.
I guess the best example is just simply in a game like Minecraft, making sure everything's perfectly aligned or it has to be perfectly flat.
That's
I
a
know.
different OCD.
I said one of the best examples.
Mine
There's
awful.
different
Actually,
kinds and actual
Minecraft is very
types.
therapeutic for people.
Indeed.
Oh, I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
Getting back to what we were talking about with RTX, I'm seeing La Zelda has given us the true facts. The cap this year is going to be 15,000.
Last year it
That's
was
still
10. So
It's still a
we're
shit
still
ton
not
of
on
people.
the moon like Gus promised on the second one.
no.
That'll be 10 years from now. You know, when we actually have shuttles that go up there on a regular basis.
I wonder if it's going to get to like maybe a couple $1,000s or 3,000 something, but it really expensive. But if there would be a point where you could just, I feel like going to moon base right now. I'm gonna buy this very very expensive ticket and just fly up there.
I'll be very disappointed if I don't get to live to see that. I've been watching a lot of the Cosmos show, and it really makes me depressed that I'm never going to see, like, human
Ken
advance
has
to
been
that,
watching
How
that too.
is it? I haven't watched
that
it yet.
amount of potential. It's really good.
He says it's kind of weak, actually.
I think they have some moments that are really weak, some moments that they have like these illustration based scenes. Those can be a little weak and cheesy, but
Yeah,
when
every
Neil deGrasse
week
Tyson
that
is kind of monologuing,
he tells me
listen.
about it, and he's like, yeah, they've covered pretty much the basic stuff of whatever the subject is that week. He's like, it's nothing I didn't really already know, and it feels like they really dumbed it down. And
well, I mean, if you think about it, the whole idea behind it is to get people interested in science. So people who don't have that general interest are getting that intro.
I guess you got to dumb it down so the dummies can understand.
That was always Carl Sagan's kind of spiel. Like, the world needs to know, be interested in science. Like,
That is true. According to some recent studies, like over almost half of Americans cannot follow or do not understand what the scientific method is, and
Even though it's like the
other
basic
like
thing
another
taught in school.
Yeah, it's really really basic stuff, and they fail dismally at other really basic science like science principles.
it's a real shame.
Especially compared to other countries, we're falling. First world countries, we're actually behind.
I
the
think it's
curve
definitely the way
as
that
far as-
the way that they bring about the school systems, not designing it to be taught, but just designing it so that your school can meet the average for standardized tests.
Yeah, a lot of the other countries that are doing much better with education, like point to our system, and they're like, you guys are doing it wrong. You should do something about that.
And yet we still have to take like this pointless test that does nothing. And at least in some schools they're stopping. It's like the SAT, except in schools. I had to do that a whole bunch of times up until I think 12th grade is right when it stopped.
And yeah, according to new research, that's one of the worst things you can do to students, and it completely discourages them from learning or embracing any sort of higher education. That doesn't apply for everyone, of course, but for the majority of students, because you have to constantly take these evaluations of your own skills, it just discourages the whole learning, the whole appeal of learning.
Well,
and bettering yourself.
when I was in school, the standardized test was the TOS test. And I have family and friends that work in education. I can tell you, just from my view, I think like the past decade, it just looks really, I don't know, that there's an overemphasis on standardized testing. I mean, my mother's in education, and she says pretty much they squeeze curriculum. Curriculi? I don't know. In the middle of practicing their standardized testing, like pretty much the focus throughout the year is getting ready for these tests, and they start them off when they're little. When I was a kid, we didn't start that stuff until we got to junior high, and then in high school we took the TOS test, and that was it. It wasn't like from elementary school all the way up, and from what I hear now,
every single grade you have to take it. You have to take it each time.
Exactly. It wasn't like that. It was we took one when we were in 7th grade in junior high, and then I took one my sophomore year in high school, which was the the finalized one. And if you pass it, that was it. If you didn't, you had between your sophomore year to your senior year to pass whatever portion you didn't meet the requirements for. But now it's like I hear every year and throughout every year, it's pretty much just prep. And I think that's where we're falling behind. I mean,
it should be a measurement.
It doesn't
it
serve
should be
any
a
purpose.
measurement of your skills, not kind of the other way around. You have to build skills to do it. They're also usually a lot easier than the general like study that's going on.
Yeah. It's still like almost an archaic system that's set up where it's like, this is what we think you should where you should be at, and if you're not at this level, then there's something wrong with you. Instead of flipping it around the other way and finding out what everyone is actually good at.
It's always like the student must be doing something wrong first. They never consider that it might actually be the teacher that's bad. They're not just complaining.
Oh hell, having a bad teacher does just kind of destroy an experience there. I was like that when I was in 6th grade. My math teacher was just complete dipshit when it came to explaining things. And for the people that understood all the basic principles, it was great. You know, she was happy with them, yada yada yada. But if you didn't understand the concepts really well, it was like talking to a brick wall. Like, can you explain this to me more? And she would just repeat the same thing she said a little bit slower.
Kind of like in video games.
Obviously,
do you want to hear the explanation again?
Yeah, it's like, obviously I wasn't getting it the first time you explained it that way. How about you actually, try and explain it to me on a level that I can understand?
I hate how in video games the default option is yes. I'm like, no, I don't want to watch the tutorial again, and you're just kind of click through, and then you accidentally press yes.
Or
like,
the standard Pokemon accidentally get your Pokemon healed again because you press A too fast because you're trying to make it skip again.
Oh my god. They tried to fix that in later games, and it still screws up.
They should
all the time.
default no in that case, but they never tried.
Right.
Yeah, I had something like that happen, usually with role-playing games. Ooh, speaking of role-playing games, guess what I bought?
What did you buy?
I bought Final Fantasy X HD on the PlayStation 3.
That's awesome, man. I bought that too.
Is it
Yep,
worth it?
and I don't even have a PlayStation 3.
Oh, what? Why'd you do that?
So I could play it at my sister's house.
You just wanted to have it just so you could look at it.
Dude, that's a 80-hour game. So you're gonna be over your sister's house that much?
Well, I told her I would let her borrow it because she really liked 10 Part 2, and I really liked 10, and both of them
She
were on
likes
the
10
same
Part
disc.
2?
Yeah.
Oh man. I
Yeah.
think she's the only one.
I try not to judge her for that, but yeah, she enjoyed it. So I couldn't stand the battle system at all. I could forgive the changes they made to the characters, but I just could not get into that damn
Which battle system are they on? Because I know there's like so many. The only one that didn't skip I tried the first game, and that's been the easiest. I don't like it how in the 7th and 8th they don't give you chances to like think about your moves.
They give you that. You give that timer. Yeah,
they took.
10 is very turn-based.
It is. That's
straight
why I love
turn-based.
it. I absolutely love it.
10-2 brings back that kind of like time limit to input actions.
Yeah, it's chaotic, and especially when you're first learning it, or you're learning new moves, you're trying to figure out what you need to do. You don't have time to strategize. You pretty much just have to quickly throw stuff off and hope it does the right thing, and then like it forces you to learn quickly as you go along, or lose lots and lots of battles. And I don't like feeling like I'm being rushed,
That's why
especially when
like
it comes
Dead
to
Rising.
a role-playing game like that. Like I like to go at my own pace. I don't want to sit there feeling like, oh, I've got to get this done quick, otherwise I'm gonna.
But that's what they do to try to appease those people that are more about the action-based games.
It's still not action.
I think that's what's killing Final Fantasy.
How quickly can you select what you want to do in something like Xenosaga? The only pain for not choosing your move fast is sometimes during a boss fight. If they have collected enough boost, they'll boost ahead of your turn if you don't do the same yourself. But you can just sit there and plan, okay, I'm going to do this move next. I'm going to see what's going to happen here. I'm going to do 5 moves, like I guess chess, 5 moves ahead of what's going on now.
Now I'll even stay with the Square company, SquareSoft / Square Enix, when they actually do know how to do a faster paced action type game. You can look at the Kingdom Hearts series for that, where you don't have it's not the basic menu system. It's as you go action. It still has a little bit of strategy involved, and there's still some menus that you have to deal with, but it's all in real time, and all the pieces are introduced very slowly, so you're not overwhelmed. Whereas with a typical Final Fantasy game where you have to navigate different menus, and when you're on a time crunch while you're navigating menus and you're trying to read what the, what
50
each
different
move
summonings
does,
and all this.
yeah, it's just a really bad decision, and I'd like to know who sat there and focus tested this and said, yeah, we like this a lot. Let's go ahead and do it and ship out.
I just played through 13. Did you ever play 13?
I
Final
think
Fantasy
so.
Wait,
I
yeah,
have it,
we
actually.
did talk about this a little bit.
I
just played through 13, and that's like that fast-paced action, but I really felt like all those, like, over the years, that, like, kind of, like, time limit turn-based stuff, I really thought they nailed it nicely with 13. Like,
I think
just
they
felt
did a
fluid.
pretty decent job, but with that, I've been playing 13 as well, but at the same time, I also am pretty disappointed in it because it doesn't really feel like you ever actually do
It
anything.
still feels like a tutorial through the first 9 chapters.
Yeah, like
that's what people say.
I've got like 16 hours into the game, and it never really felt like I was doing anything. All the levels are incredibly linear. It's like I'm walking on a straight line, and then I get into the boss battles, and of course, because I'm wanting to level up as much as I can, I try and run into all the battles that I can. So the whole thing feels very scripted. It doesn't really feel very organic. It's like, okay, walk down this corridor, have these battles.
It's very linear. And that was a major criticism of the show.
And also, I just can't stand Lightning's character. She's just so.
She grows on you, dude. I swear she grows on you.
After 16 hours, she has not grown on me yet. Everyone keeps telling me that, but I still cannot stand her.
Hour 25.
I'll have to try it again. I haven't had enough time here recently to just sit here and play video games. I don't get that option very very often. But when I finally do have some spare hours to kill, I'll probably boot it back up because I don't know. I don't just want to leave the game sitting there unfinished, especially when I'm not stuck at any point. I just kind of got bored, so I'll wind up picking it up again.
For me right now, it's like the year of the RPGs. Like, I'm really excited for all the games coming out this year. Like I started off the year with Pokemon, then this game called Tales of Xillia on PS3, then Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 13 2, Final Fantasy 13 Part 3. Then I'm going to play Final Fantasy X HD. Yeah, they had a third part come out.
Yeah, it just came out. Lightning Returns, and it takes place in the future. Like, the future compared to the other two. But somehow some of the characters are still just as young as they were.
Oh,
like,
it's 1,000 years difference?
Or 100 years before, or whatever. It's a big difference. I don't know if it's 100 years or 1,000 years or somewhere in between, but there's a big-ass difference, and a lot of the characters look exactly the same. It's a little suspicious. It's like the planning, the team that came up with the story didn't really communicate well with the team that was doing the character design, and so they thought, oh, it's part 3, let's just make all the characters look just like a couple years older, and then the storyline team is like, guys, this story actually takes place a lot later in the future than just a few years, and they're like, well, the characters have already been made, so hopefully no one will notice, and they just kind of left it at that. I can see that happening, especially with the way Square Enix has been here recently. I bet they were all like sitting there with needles stuck in their arm and empty whiskey bottles lying around. They're like, "Oh yeah, this is good enough." When are they gonna finally give me a Kingdom Hearts Part 3?
I thought that was like announced and in production.
That was announced when both next-gen consoles were announced. It's gonna be on both.
Yeah, but Square Enix has a really bad habit of announcing a project and then it winding up in production hell for like 20 years before they get around to finally putting it out.
Has there been anything else from that announcement, like after that, in any of this time?
All I heard, all I saw was
HD
Kingdom Hearts
remix.
3. Boom. That's it.
Yeah, and I would like to have been able to follow the storylines of all the other Kingdom Hearts games, but I don't like playing on such a small screen like the handhelds. And other than the first two, all the rest are all on handhelds. So I've kind of read over the cliff notes of the story, but I've not actually been able to play it.
What I was going to do for those, because I do want to go through it, and I've played through the first one and the second one, but if I don't really actually end up getting those, I'll probably look up a Let's Play, and depending on whether or not I actually the story is interesting. I've seen this one person which just had a purely like gameplay let's play, or maybe just watch kind of the cutscenes in order just to kind of get a feel for the story.
Yeah, I've done that with the handhelds. I just watch the cutscene movies so that I can get an idea of what's going on in the next one. It's like, okay, this is what's happened. So it condenses like a 20-hour game down to about an hour.
I did that with
Makes it easier to
no,
swallow.
not Ocarina, Majora's Mask, because it looked like such an interesting game from videos I've seen about it, but I could not beat that game.
I never beat Majora's Mask. It kicked my ass.
It's my favorite Zelda game.
It's the
That and
hardest
Wind
one,
Waker.
I think. It's
hard, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
so much
great.
fun.
I
It's
saw this
creepy
one
as
person
fuck,
who had
dude.
had like a something part let's play, or not really let's play, because it was just him playing it, but it was like through every single heart piece, like completely beating it. I just happened to find it on accident. Everyone else either skipped tons
I
of
don't
it
understand how
or
people like
didn't
that
even
can
do it all.
exist. Like, yeah, people that can do that can dedicate that much time in finding all the little secrets and bits, and then sit there and play through and record everything. I'm like, I sit there and wonder, what do you do with all the free time you must have? Like, what is it you do, and how do I get that much free time? It's got to be amazing.
I definitely like some games, but there's other ones that I like the game. I would hate playing it, but I like the story. I like the characters and stuff, but the actual gameplay is either too hard
You know
or I
what
just
game
simply
I
don't
think
have
I need to
it.
get? I need to get Dark Souls, so I can play the second one too. I've heard a lot of good things about that, and it sounds like the just the right type of quirky, dark, but difficult story and gameplay mechanics, and it's got a really subtle way of telling the story, like through the atmosphere. It's not just all
Ooh.
through cutscenes, so you have to kind of pay attention to really pick up on what's going on. Has anyone else played this game? Because I would really like to play it, and if someone can give me a recommendation for it, that'd be even more incentive.
I have
No.
not played
Crickets.
through it.
Dark
I haven't
Souls?
played Dark Souls yet.
Yes.
Not yet.
Sorry, bro.
It looks difficult.
Well, yeah, I'm
That's all
told
I
it
can
is
say.
difficult, but it looks like the good type of difficult. Like, it kicks your ass so good you come back begging for more.
Yeah, there's some games where it's really good for it to be difficult. Other ones you just end up rage quitting, or you just can't find out what to do next, so you give up anyway.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've had one of those encounters. The last game I had that type of situation with was Perfect Dark Zero.
I tried
Fucking
starting
shitty
that because I
game.
was like, this cover.
Was that like the first Xbox 360 game?
Yes, and it was a really lousy way to
It
start
was?
start the system off.
Good thing they had Halo 2.
Like, I literally could not figure out where to go next. And I think it was the first or second level. Like, I sat there just walking around in circles over and over again, waiting to find a doorway to open or, enemies to show up somewhere, and nothing. Like, there was no indication as to where to go. I couldn't find where to go, and I just kept walking around, and after about an hour of that, I'm like, you know what? I'm done. This is just too bad. The game doesn't even look that good anyway. It looked more like Xbox
Like they were still following the
1.0
Xbox game
versus
creating
360.
format. They hadn't quite gotten used to developing for 360 yet.
Yeah, it was a really ugly looking game. I mean, compared to original Xbox graphics,
It was a hack job.
yeah, it looked good compared to original Xbox graphics, but on Xbox 360 standards, it looked pretty damn bad. Pretty damn bad. And I lost all my faith in Rare at that point in time because they'd just been purchased by Microsoft. Because they had such a spectacular reputation up until then, and then Microsoft bought them. And
They
went
had
to
all the
shit.
Donkey Kong games,
The
man.
Donkey Kong games. They did the
Banjo.
Killer Instinct.
Eh,
The Banjo
Banjo,
and Kazooie games, and then Banjo and Tootie.
Conquer.
Yeah, Conker's bad for, yeah. Like they just had hit after hit after hit, no matter what sort of genre they stuck their finger into. Like, they just mastered the shit out of it. And then Perfect Dark Zero came out, and I'm like,
But that was the thing, they had
Lord.
Perfect Dark on N64 was like an awesome game, and then
It
they
was
screwed up once, and it
fantastic.
happens.
They also screwed up with the
And
Banjo
yeah, so I thought, okay, maybe
series.
this is. Yes, I thought it
Nobody
might
liked
have
the
been.
Banjo series? I thought
They
everybody
messed
loved
up
that
with
stuff.
the they completely went another direction in the gameplay to make the nuts and bolts with it was a racing game, but they still had the overworld as if it was going to be the Banjo 3.
I own that game.
And they just completely did a new direction. It was awful.
It's that's another one that's a wreck. You can tell that it was an unfinished game.
Like Sonic
just from the way everything is set up in it. Yeah, it was bad. But I had a small glimmer of hope for Rare when Viva Pinata came out. I genuinely enjoyed the shit out of that game. Like I don't even know how many hours I played it, but I played it a lot. And when the second one came out, I'm like, hell yeah, more of the same stuff. I'm so spending my money on this. But other than that, like, Rare is pretty much like fallen from the from my good graces.
Are they even still making games?
I don't think there's any. I don't think so. I think they made the Avatar interface for the Xbox 360, but I don't think they've done anything after that. Microsoft may have even shut them down. I don't know.
That is sad. What good game companies, like for example, the game company that made the first Okami game, they were like bought up by, I think it was the Square Enix, but I could be wrong. And then Okami then was all right, and then but it was still not the same kind of format, nowhere close to the same like graphical appeal and gameplay wise. A lot more just puzzles rather than actually going through dungeons.
Yeah. EA did that too with a lot of companies. One in particular, like the Bullfrog company, they did the Sim Theme Park. Like the I loved Sim Theme Park. I played that game to death. And then like they came up with some sort of shoddy, like they called it Sim Coaster or something like that, which is pretty much the exact same thing as Sim Theme Park, only slightly better graphics. But yeah, once that came out, the EA was like, okay, sorry Bullfrog, but we're shutting you down. And it's because we just wanted that one title out of you, and so we're good now. Bye, and fired everybody. I'm like, seriously, EA? What the fuck is wrong with you?
There's so much that's wrong with EA. Where to start?
Yeah. They're pretty much the poster child for the evil villain company that snaps up whatever it thinks it can make a quick profit off of. But I'm a little bit encouraged by what they're allowing Maxis to do, because they've purchased Maxis and they put out that debacle that was the new SimCity game. But it's almost like somehow Maxis is getting their way now because they have the offline capability. I don't know if it's out yet. I haven't played recently.
Still wasn't like fully developed. Oh, we can't quite do it offline, but still play on this network.
Yeah, so it took a fucking year of horrible, shitty service before they decided, you know what, the next big thing in SimCity is coming. We're going to go ahead and go offline. And so this huge fan base of people who have been, who supported SimCity 4 over 10 fucking years by creating new content for it and modding it. It's like, so these guys can actually do their thing and keep our product relevant. It's like, you should have done that
Speaking
from the beginning,
of
dipshits.
What I guess game mistakes and stuff. The ESO, it wasn't ready yet. They still released it. It's not anywhere close to ready.
Nope.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Elder Scrolls Online?
As glitchy as it was in every single beta test we've done.
Yeah, Chaos and I played the beta, and I think we mentioned that it had a lot of potential. There was some improvement, but the problem and I think, I don't know if you guys follow Adam, but Adam tweeted about this and posted on Rooster Teeth.
Which one?
Baird is that his last name? Baird?
Beard
Not
or
Beard,
no beard?
Baird. Not Gilby. The other Adam. Tech Adam. He was disappointed because he didn't play. From what I understand, he didn't play the beta, but the glitches that we were dealt with in the beta testing are still there. They're still there. And most of the early levels had a lot of problems where missions and quests, you would have to log out and relog to get them to go through. They would lock up, and they still haven't fixed that. So
broken.
I mean,
that's a shame. Now, has the game been released yet, or is it still in pre-order? Last time I was at the store, it was in pre-order.
Early access, I believe. So if you had pre-ordered it, you could be running around right now. But I think they, when I was looking at Twitter, they took the U.S. server offline for maintenance.
I'm looking at the Twitch chat right now. It looks like Zap45 said he's pre-ordering.
I don't know if I love Elder Scrolls so much, but I don't know if they're really going to end up doing that justice, because there's so many things that, like for example, if you want to play with your friends, that's like almost impossible, because if you do a quest that does a major thing, which a lot of them do, like say changes a city, now the city's destroyed, you won't see your friends there anymore, because technically that's a separate instance.
Yeah, we had that issue when I got a beta pass from David, so me and him went on there, and he was like, okay, I'm not a high enough level, but let's do this one thing together. And we couldn't see each other, we couldn't affect each other's environment. Like, they have some enemies that are way too high powered for their level, like the scamps or whatever. He'd kill it, like, did you see that? No, like, we can't fuck with each other's environment, so we can't even do a quest, because we're not strong enough. We need to, like, team up, because some of their enemies even are way too powered up. And you really need to be able to do stuff with friends, but you can't.
That's so weird.
That's interesting.
It makes
well, you know, that's the one thing about
City
of Heroes. It got a lot of shit because the missions were a bit redundant. But if you were, if there was a big gap in the levels, you could become a high level sidekick, and you could go on an instance with the higher level, and you would get an adjusted amount of experience. So you would still be power leveling, but not at a rate that you would think because of the gap. You know, like if a level 30 brought a sidekick to level 10, the experience level you would get a bonus for being in the group, but you wouldn't get a massive increase to where you were power leveling at such a fast rate. That's why I really enjoyed City of Heroes with that part of the multiplayer. But I didn't play a lot of multiplayer on Elder Scrolls. That's really disappointing that they haven't fixed that.
Another problem is the leveling of Skyrim and Oblivion doesn't work in the MMO setting. So leveling, if you want to level, you have to first raise your sword skill, raise everything. And if you want to get a decent level, you can't really go with the weapon set out, because you're basically, if you want to get anywhere in level, you'll have to train up your bow, your sword, your axe, every single thing in order to get enough experience to finally level up. You always felt underpowered. You never felt like I can actually do this. I'm actually a tough person now, because the next quest was always like 50 levels above you, and sorry, you're still level 4, so you can attempt to die 15 times to get past each enemy, but you're probably gonna die like so many times.
Now, could it be that that Elder Scrolls Online is just going for such a different concept that we just in general don't know how to deal with it yet? And maybe months from now or a year from now, we'll look back and say, that was actually a really interesting idea they had here, and it was just kind of just too different.
It's not
for
quite a
really
different idea, because what they're doing is they're taking like the best of both of the worlds, and they're trying to make a fusion of a good MMO and a really good massive world game, and they're just taking parts from each of them, instead of kind of trying to create their own system. Like, even if you don't like Star Wars and like MMOs as much, that's why I always say that the Sorter is one of the best ones for doing stuff, because they have good group, good everything, good leveling. You actually feel like you can do something, and you don't even have to pay for it. It's all free. And if you want your little bonuses, then you pay the 15 something for the subscription, but it's not even that expensive. I think the Skyrim one might be even more expensive at that point.
It's very interesting. I'm still really curious about it, and I'm probably going to wind up, at least purchasing it to begin with and starting off. And if I hate it, I'll just cancel the subscription. I think they should do free
trials at least.
I am really interested in it.
Yeah, there's just some things about it that like. You'll be like, okay, I have to go find and kill this guy. So you'll go and you'll search, and you can't find him. And then you'll realize, because you have to sit there and wait. Because everyone's sitting there having to try to kill the same guy on the quest.
You can't see.
And they're like spawn killing him. So you have to literally wait and kind of spawn camp and finally find the group of people surrounding the guy. And like, finally, that's where that asshole is. You have to wait to kill him and kill him before everyone else does. that's another issue with the whole multiplayer thing. There was like 2 different quests I did. I couldn't find the person, and I wasn't sure because there wasn't even a big group of people. Like, it wasn't very obvious this is where the guy's supposed to be. You keep going around trying to find it, and you're like, wait. You just sit there. I had to sit there for like 5 minutes trying to kill this one guy.
Yeah,
everyone beating me to it.
It was awful.
That's annoying.
It's a little. It throws you out of the whole story and being immersed thing with all the people running around. The only good thing about the people is if it's a tough quest and you start following a group of
there's
people,
a big enemy
you
that's
all
supposed to be
fight the
blocking,
enemies together
say,
and
the
kinda help
gem
each
of
other.
gemness, and you need to get this thing, but there's there
gem
was
of
things like
gemness?
that, believe me. There was things like that.
Are you guys playing Borderlands
you
or
go-
are you playing...
It
A
does like
huge
sound like
boss
something
would
on
be in front of
Borderlands,
it.
right?
It would be gone because it's already been killed. So just like walk right past that and then finish the quest on your own without even have to fight once.
Yeah, sometimes that's good when it's the multiplayer because you don't take any damage. You beat a quest, you didn't do shit because everyone else worked for you. But there's the quest where you have to kill this one guy, and you don't know where this asshole is, and everyone is sitting there just killing him. You have to wait 5 minutes for your fucking turn to kill this asshole. That's when it messes up. That's when there's something about that they need to work on.
I feel like I've learned how to play this game just by listening to Ray just describe actions. Just like, we gotta kill the guy, and then you gotta wait till they kill the guy, and then these other fucking assholes. And then...
Like they don't follow the like 5 different attacks. You get like a little bit of power attacks, and then it's just kind of left clicking a whole bunch because your basic attacks don't really even do much. And it's a sad thing because, like, one of my favorite characters in there, Sheogorath, his world quest was, like, so hard because there was just this little creature. And this is one of those things where, it's a separate instance, so you can't bring any of your friends. Your groups don't matter. No, you have to fight this thing on your own. And I was lucky to beat it and actually run into him right away.
You're crushing my hopes and dreams for this game. You know that, right?
Just relax.
You should be worried because it was like a level 8 quest. I had to wait until I think I was like level 12 before I would go back to the Sheogorath to try it because I was getting my ass beat.
Yes.
Because there's some enemies, mainly the scamps, that are way overpowered.
Well, the scamps always were vicious little fuckers.
It's supposed to be there's a whole bunch of them. They're annoying. It's kind of like the rats of a game. Like, there's a bunch of them. They're annoying. In this game, they summon fire from the skies and rock the earth.
RUSs?
They're like boss characters in and of themselves.
Wait, they can rock the earth? I knew they could do fire,
just
but
throwing a fireball. It's literally summoning fire raining down from the sky at you.
Yeah,
well, that's a
they
little
could be
weird.
levels beneath you and still destroy your ass. That's why you need a friend. But then, like what David was saying,
Grouping
fucks
is
up
awful.
because it doesn't always work. Like, I needed his help. Sometimes he needed my
story,
help.
you can even do story quests
It's
together.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the chat here. I'm seeing Tejan Lee just wrote "Rodents of Unusual Size." I absolutely love that movie.
Yeah, man.
Just so you know.
When you're talking about giant rats breathing fire, I naturally go to Princess Bride.
What about the ROUS?
Oh, the rodents of unusual sizes? I do not believe they exist.
I don't think they exist. I wish I would genuinely like to see someone attempt to remake that movie.
I don't want to see a remake. I want to see a video of us watching the movie and commentating on it. I think that would be a fun project for us to do.
That would be, if Wubwave, wherever you are, if you're listening to this sometime in the future, that should be the first movie we do.
I think
really
it'd be very
wants to
easy,
do
especially if we
He
play
really
it
wants to do
through
something like that.
the Google Hangouts type of situation where if we all have a thing going, we might have times when we're out of sync, but it will still be able to catch up and we'll still be all watching at the same time. If we start the video all at the same time, like 3, 2, 1, go, then we won't have to worry about, oh no, someone's lagging, because it'll still be playing for them.
Especially
that's the thing,
Princess Bride.
When you're playing the movie, we can just kind of like have the movie playing, and then kind of like when one of us speaks, we'll mute it a little bit and they can speak up, and you can kind of sync that a little better, I guess, per clip. You know what I mean? while the
Yeah,
movie
you
is
can
playing.
adjust audio levels
Do you know what I
to
mean?
whether or not it's speaking if you wanted to go that far into
Yeah.
it.
You know, the only thing I don't like about that movie is the very beginning, where you've got the sick kid, and then all the parts where the sick kid and the grandfather are like interrupting and telling the story. It's like just
You didn't like the
fucking-
Fred Savage parts?
No, just let me watch the damn
I
movie.
love the old man.
He was funny, but at the same time, it's like the way it kept interrupting the actual story that I'm interested in.
It
to
made it
tell
so
this-
meta.
Oh, it just pissed me off. I'm like, really, this kid is super lame. We don't need to know about how he's taking the sick day off of whatever it is he's doing to hear this book. I want to hear this story about Princess Buttercup. Damn it, let me listen. Let me just enjoy the story.
I have a question for Chaos and Dark. Are you guys gonna do a follow up to the Portal 2 Let's
If
Play
Dark
that
is
you guys did?
actually able to get home
We really should.
from work and not be like completely dead by a time. Yeah.
It's got to be on the weekend. I'm not available for that during the week. It has to be on
But
the weekend.
I get David on the weekend.
You'll have to share.
Well, then you guys do a Let's
No,
Play.
I refuse.
We need to build up some TFT plays and put them on the YouTube channel. Is what I'm getting
Yes.
at here.
Selfishness is not befitting of you, Ray. You need to be generous.
I don't give a fuck. This is the first time I've got to talk to David in a bit. He's been really busy.
During the podcast, you guys want to talk about personal stuff or hash things out?
There's nothing personal to talk about. I just like to sit around and hang out with him.
He is dreaming to sit around and talk to.
Well, you know, Ray. If you want to be a third wheel, you can be online while Chaos and I do
And
the
this
next
time
Let's
I won't
Play.
have
You know, you can
the
just
game
listen.
like, or I actually know what to do, know how to properly do a Let's Play.
Oh, good.
Dark
Well,
stuff
Are you guys
is
gonna
funny.
keep playing
If
Portal? Or are you gonna play
he's
something
hasn't,
else?
Like, if his data is still intact, his
My
yeah,
data
then
is
he
still
would be,
intact.
Then we could, then we could
Seriously.
continue from where we left off at the end of the third level, I believe. No, we did
I
like
thought you
2
guys
out of
beat it.
there's like 5 multiplayer levels, and we got to the third
Oh,
one. I
right.
think.
Yeah, we got like almost to the halfway point. I think either to the halfway point or just beyond the halfway point.
And now I'm a lot better at Portal
Yes, we have
and
to finish the
understand it
game.
more. So,
And it's been
It's
a
all
fucking
about-
long
it's
time
all
since
about
I played
teamwork.
it now, so I probably suck at it. So we can switch roles. You can be the expert, and I'll be the what am I supposed to do, Chaos? It'll be a refreshing turn of events.
Have you guys seen Lozelda's new
No.
Let's Play? She's playing the cave on her channel.
No,
No,
the cave.
it was,
what, I heard about this. This sounds like a good game.
It's really funny. She does a great job with video. She's really funny at it. She's pretty drunk. It's basically like you choose from a bunch of characters and you play with them and you try to solve a bunch of puzzles in this cave that's constantly like making fun of you. It's like a living cave, and you kind of have to solve all the puzzles and meet all these like crazy people that are lost in the cave. Definitely gotta watch the video.
I will check that out. I do like watching her videos. Oh, Zap45, thank you for
what did
agreeing
he agree
with
with
me.
you about?
You're a good friend of mine now. About the Princess Bride.
Oh, the RUSs, yes.
Yeah, about the damn. I think he was talking about how annoying having that kid and the grandfather interrupt the story about Princess Buttercup and her man.
Nah.
We just had a bonding moment here. And what was that? The giant from that movie.
Andre the Giant.
Oh, yes,
He was a professional wrestler.
That's right. That's right. He was. Didn't he have some sort of like genetic disorder?
Yeah, gigantism.
I don't think. Yeah. Did he actually have
Yeah,
legit
that's what killed-
gigantism,
that's what
or
killed
was he
him.
just?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
because he died. He died in
How
his
old
Yeah,
was
he had a.
he died in
tragically
his late
short lifespan.
late 40s, I think. Yeah, mid to late 40s. There's another wrestler right now, Paul White. He is of the same size.
Big Show?
He goes by
The Big Show?
His wrestling name is the Big Show. He's roughly the same height and size, but he had surgery on his pituitary gland that would basically all the natural growth hormone there's something pushes on the hormone
Super
and
hormones.
creates an issue where it just basically just it keeps producing, and you keep growing and you can't control it. And that's what happened to Andre. His back started going out and his knees, and he just and I think he actually was supposed to stop wrestling when he was filming The Princess Bride. He said, "I'm done," but then he came back for what ended up being WrestleMania 3, that big event with Hulk Hogan. And but the guy is a legend. Like, everyone loved him. He was such a sweet man, and the guy could party. He's legendary. He's a legend in terms of drinking. He's known to have polished off like 50 beers and 4 bottles of scotch in one night and not even be drunk. But
Well, if you have that much
yeah,
body
he
mass,
was like
you
500
can put it
freaking
away.
pounds. Yeah.
He was close to 500 pounds.
Yeah, but I had always heard from wrestling promoters, like old guys that worked with him or knew him, said he was nothing but the sweetest. He was a gentle giant, Andre the Giant. So, yeah,
He's a sweet man, man.
Unless he's in costume and lit on fire, then he's pretty scary.
You know what? He never got into that kind of crap. He was pretty much just a straight up guy, like in the ring.
Yeah, he did that in
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Princess
that's right.
Bride.
He had a standard singlet with like the crotch
But
cut
I mean,
off.
like as a wrestler,
like,
yeah,
cut off at the
TJ Lee's right.
legs.
As a wrestler, it was just straightforward. He was just Andre the Giant. That was it.
And he just
And
slapped
felt like
you
winning
around.
he would win when he felt like
chopped
winning a match. He allowed you to win every time. That was the whole thing with him, because he was
that
just
lucky
a
guy. It's
massive
like, yay, I get to win.
Exactly.
I love
Andre's
watching
really generous.
I love watching big fat guys wrestle. I wrestled in high school, and the best matches were the 275-pound guys just wrestling, because they're not jacked. They're just big and fat. And they just slap each other.
75-pound guys?
275 pounds.
Oh, okay.
So the first person to get trapped in a headlock or get knocked down, they were getting pinned. So none of those matches lasted longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah, those heavyweight fights are pretty
Well,
hilarious, like in UFC.
Aren't they all like gasping for breath?
They're
by
both
the
like
end
just
as
swinging
well?
their arms
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
air, like trying to hit them, but they can't even reach the other person.
They want to do sumo, but they can't do sumo.
They're not fat enough. They're fat, but they're not fat enough to do sumo.
They don't have the
Yeah.
fat muscle
like,
that
"You're
sumo
not
wrestlers.
fat
I still think
enough,
that's freaking
son."
amazing that those guys they just rearrange their muscles, so it's just like they're super fucking strong and they're in shape, but they just rearrange their muscle and their shape and their body weight so they're fat and heavy and they feel like
I just
stone.
don't understand that. It's
crazy.
It's like mind blowing to me. It like defies the laws of physics or something. It's just weird. It's like, what sort of sorcery is this?
Have you ever
Sumo
actually
wrestlers.
watched a fight thing? Ew.
Ew. No. Does nothing for me.
Doesn't do it for you.
No. No, I'd rather watch like
Wrestling.
an actual wrestling match, because at least that's pretty homoerotic. But,
Some guys' heads are going in crotches.
Actually,
all the time.
MMA is more
but-
erotic than wrestling. There's a lot of like digging the face in the crotch in MMA.
Oh, good to know if I ever get the urge.
Like, people make comments about that. They're like, "Oh, guys in professional wrestling, they're running around in their tights." I'm like, "Yeah, but if you watch MMA, like, there's nothing but dick and face for like 10 minutes straight. I mean, it's pretty much like, oh, he's got him in a dick hold. Oh, he's got him in the dick hold again. You know, it's pretty much just what it is."
Welcome back, Ray.
What, Ray went
Wow.
somewhere?
Oh, I thought she came back. I thought I heard her laugh. Never mind. She came back at the
No.
dick and face part, so
She didn't laugh. What are you hallucinating? Are you taking drugs?
yes, all the drugs.
Why aren't you sharing your drugs?
Because you're not right in front of me where I can
Ray,
literally
don't you have enough
hand you
drugs
the
for
drugs.
everybody?
Me?
No,
They're
not
the
good drugs.
okay
Oh.
drugs. They're not the drugs.
They're the boring
right?
drugs.
See, that's
It's only
not...
Klonopin and
No, those are-
Lexapro. That's not fun.
Is that
No,
code for
That's
crack?
codes for-
code.
Yeah.
If only, if only.
She's not at the Xanax phase. That's good drugs.
Bow, bow.
Does that say
Bow.
Really? Should I ask my doctor
Ask your doctor about
switching?
what?
That's what the commercials tell you to do.
Switching to Xanax?
Ask your doctor about
You
switching
think
to
you're
Xanax.
lazy now? You start
It'll
popping
make you
the
feel
Xanax.
relaxed.
That's literally the only call to action that any pharmaceutical advertising campaign can do. At the end, you just say, "Talk to your doctor about drug."
And they'll be like, yeah, I just listened to you rattle off all the things
Well,
it's going to do
some of
to
those
me
might
other
not
than what it's
happen
supposed
according
to, do, so I'm
how
not going to
those
call.
you describe. They do the test. Oh, I have a headache. That must be a symptom.
No, dude, that's
No,
totally
it's
true about
It's,
the
it's
just
the rectal bleeding that has me worried.
the basic symptoms are on every freaking drug. Like, because I work in pharmaceuticals too, and it's just we actually do like the marketing and stuff for that, and like every single label has to have like those basic bullet points about renal shit coming out and coughing and headache and all that bullshit, and then it gets even grosser.
A big thing
One of my favorites
about
was this
Lexapro.
osteoporosis. It was osteoporosis? No, it was what's that illness that makes your joints hurt?
Osteoarthritis.
Arthritis, yeah. It was an arthritis medication I saw a commercial for, and one of the side effects was certain types of cancer have been reported, and people that are taking this medication, I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, you'll feel like
on a
you're
game,
Yay!
on a game they talk
but
about
you'll get cancer.
basically anxiety medicines. One of the side effects is anxiety. So.
No, you're right. Like, there's anti-anxiety,
Yeah.
and the symptom is depression. It's like, okay,
Depression,
you can make
symptom,
it
anxiety.
worse.
And then you take the antidepressant
yeah, my
medicine and it gives you
depression
anxiety.
could increase suicidal thoughts. Really?
Like, oh great.
Really?
Like, so if you're
So,
having
You
suicidal
definitely want
thoughts,
to take
please
this drug.
Stop taking this drug and consult your doctor, as it may be a warning of even more serious side effects yet to come.
Yeah, fucking bullshit. Then they just give you another drug to combat the suicidal
And then you get
thoughts.
fat,
it's really
and then you
retarded.
have to take a drug for that, and
No, I was on a drug that made me fat when I was in like high school.
See.
No, not dealing with that again.
see now.
And when I was actually taking medicine, I had an allergy medicine that I was put on, Zyrtec, and that made me want to do nothing but sleep and eat. And I did nothing but sleep and eat, and I got super heavy while I was on that. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm
Super
not
heavy,
taking this
like
anymore.
you gained 5 pounds, or super heavy as in you
When
gained
was
a lot of weight.
I gained like 30 pounds.
Oh wow,
Yeah, that was
fatty.
me and my pills. 'Cause I went from like an A to a double D in like a month. Yeah, that was when high
Is that
school.
boob
No.
size are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's talking about
but
cup size.
That, yes, but that means bad things happen to your boobs and the rest of your fucking body because you're short and you get really fat. Not good. Not good.
Speaking of Ray, I saw your crazy hair photo today.
Crazy hair.
Are you trying to get
Which
back to
crazy
that?
hair photo? What, my curly
Yeah.
hair? You call that crazy
Yeah,
hair?
crazy curly hair. It's like big and curly.
I miss
I'm not
my
saying it's
hair.
bad or anything. I'm just calling it crazy curly.
I don't know if I should go back
Just
to
do
it.
it.
Some people said the
Who's
short
telling
looks
you no?
best. I don't
We're your
know.
internet friends. We're telling you yes.
No, some of my internet friends earlier said
It's
short
kind
looks
of the-
best
it's
on me.
a-
I don't know who to believe.
They're losers.
it was
Just
before
assume
kind of
they're
However
alive.
you want to do your hair, you'll look great.
It looks good now, so they don't want it. They're like, oh, you're gonna change it again, and they're like, I guess they don't want to say it looks bad because that's what you have now. Because if they say short doesn't look good, but your hair is short now. So what are you trying to say?
I've never
No,
understood
they
that.
could say no. Oh, you should try going back to long. See how that works. There's
Yeah,
other
I'll
ways
get
to
right on
phrase
that.
it.
See you
See,
in
I've
7
never
months.
understood that.
Yeah, it takes forever. I'm not patient.
Like Kendall get a haircut and ask me what I think of it. I'm like, yeah, it's a haircut. And I'm like, I don't really give two shits about
Ken
what
walks
you do
in,
to your
he's
hair.
completely
All
bald.
you look
What's
the
your favorite
same.
part? Is his face, not
For
the
the
hair?
most part, I don't care about that. But David doesn't need to shave his head again, like he did before.
What?
No,
I love
I
you,
said no.
David.
How
What
did
if
we
Ken
get
walked
into
in
that
one
shit?
day and then was like, "Look at my new haircut," and he had no hair left on his head?
Oh, he
Shaved his
wouldn't. He's
eyebrows
too
off.
self-conscious. He thinks he's got a lumpy skull, so he won't shave all of his hair off.
Oh, not Ken.
No, see, David gets his dad to do a very buzz-cut military thing every once in a while because he doesn't like getting his hair cut. And I love you, sweetie, but don't do that ever again,
Oh.
especially not before a wedding.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I always had the buzz cut, and
So sorry, David.
No.
I'm so
No,
over
no.
that. That's one of the reasons why my hair is so long now. It's like I had
It's
super
just in,
short hair for so long that I just wanted to go the complete opposite. I'm like, you know what? I want long hair now.
Well, that's
instead.
I don't let dudes cut my hair because that's what they only know one haircut. It's buzz cut. I don't.
Honey, that you
No.
need to go to a actual salon.
Yeah, but I
and
can't.
not
I can't
a
talk.
barber.
I can't talk to a guy like a barber. Yeah, but like I can't talk to him and say like I want this to happen, and he's just like, nah, I'll just cut it. And I'm like, nah.
No, that's why
Girls
you go
would
to
be
a
like,
salon.
okay, I understand what you want.
See, you're going to the wrong places. You can
I'm going to the
talk
hair
any-
cutter, dude.
You can talk to anyone at an actual bona fide salon, and they'll sit there and they'll work with you. But if you go to a barber, that's when you get the I'm just gonna do this.
I'm gonna take the blue water. I'm gonna spray it on your head, and then I'm gonna just shave it all off.
And especially
No.
if you get yourself a good gay guy at a salon, he will sit
That's
there
what
and he
I'm
will
hoping
work
for.
with you.
I'm looking
I
for a
haven't
gay
gone
barber.
to a hair salon in years. I've been doing my own shit.
Yeah, I started going to this place in Durham. I actually go to the next city over for my haircuts now, and
Durham.
it's pretty much the whole thing's run by gay people and lesbians, and the lesbians have really weird hair, so I don't get my hair cut by them. But my sister, she started going there after I started going there, and she gets her hair cut by one of the few straight girls there, and she said to me, she's like, this is the best thing that I've ever done, like actually going to a real salon, because my eyebrows, they're done perfectly every time. And every time I get my hair cut here, it's like if I don't know what I want to do, if I just want to change it up, like she knows exactly what will work best with my hair types. Like it's so easy now. I'm like, yes, that's why you need to go to a nice place to get your hair done, bitch.
No, just go to your own bathroom, take some scissors. It works out
No,
perfectly.
that never works out. You're insane.
I get
You're
compliments.
insane.
People don't realize I've done it myself. Like, oh, your hair looks cool. How'd you where'd you get that done? No, fuck you. I
It's
did.
like
Ray,
super
usually that
stylized.
means you've got some sort of bizarre talent that no one else has, and you should probably do something about that.
No, because I'm too afraid to fuck up someone's hair. Like, I refuse to do my aunt's hair. I can do my own. David's seen me, like, fuck up and just be, like, cutting my hair. I've had him on Skype once.
That's
Well,
all you have to do. You
I
just have
guess
to give
it
It always
really
ends up
depends on
good.
You
what
just have
type. Like,
to
if you
give
wanted to
the
do
whole little
other types
speech.
of hair,
Look, I've never done this with
getting
anyone else
the
before.
actual like razor with the different clips to do, I guess, different waves. Like longer hair and even to like neck and shoulder length is easy because you can just use the scissors. But if you want to get like accurate without having to like clip each and every hair, you can have the. And I know they sell, yeah.
The
I know, that's what I said.
They don't use
long
bzzz
hair is
on long
you can
hair,
just cut
David.
it.
I will never go that short.
I know we were
I'll
saying for
never
you to
go
do
short
it
enough to need
haircuts for
bzzz.
others, just because you have super hair talents.
Hell no. I'm too afraid. Like, I would not touch your hair. I would take you to a place before I would touch your hair.
That's just your anxiety talking.
I don't want to fuck up his hair.
So what if you fuck up his hair? It'll grow back.
Well, considering the next time I see him, it'll be like a week before the wedding. Hell no.
Okay, wait till after you're married, then fuck up his hair. It'll be alright.
Here, I'll bring him to RTX. What happened to your head? You told her to cut it.
I'll take full responsibility if that's what it takes.
if we get to cut,
I'm
only if
good
we get
for
to
it.
cut
I'm good
your
with
hair
that.
next.
That's what wigs are for. We'll cut it during the
That's
panel.
the highlight of our panel. Just Dark's hair getting cut.
No, that seems like a. My beautician would kill me.
You
if I
have a
came back.
beautician.
Well,
That's adorable.
Dear God.
Yeah, I've got highlights in this.
you
in
haven't
this
seen
shit.
the pictures
Oh my
like
God.
the
Pixar didn't
picture
happen.
that he posted like recently. You can see how long it's gotten now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
so
you're
it's
talking
all
about from the
on
wedding.
Facebook.
Yeah, man, it's long.
Yeah, I'm going for mid shoulder length, and then after that,
You're
I
going for, like,
might
Jesus
entertain the
hair?
thought of cutting it off. But I want it to get to at least mid shoulder length before I actually take scissors to it.
Do you wear it in ponytails? I think that's really cute. Do you wear it in ponytails?
When I'm exercising, I pull it into the. It's not a full ponytail. I have that samurai-ish
The
type
bit,
thing going
yeah.
on where it's laid down in the very back, but it's
You
pulled out of my
reminded me
face
of one
at
of
the top.
the characters
a
from the
samurai
game.
thing going?
Actual like robotic samurai
like
from Metal Gear.
ponytails on David. You should do that,
it's
Dark.
like
RTX.
Latin sort of guy.
We just have to bring Robot Dark back and stick that picture in front of my voice.
I have to put your hair in like little pigtails at RTX. Walk around with little pigtails.
Little
You know-
butterfly clips.
You're so cute. I have to do it.
I would almost be willing to let you do that if I didn't think you had some sort of a heinous ulterior motive.
I don't.
No,
I
no.
just
See,
think it's
the
cute.
ulterior
Right. You say you think it's cute, but
motives
secretly...
would only come if you said no.
We
to
knows
letting your
English
hair get done.
here.
That's when those would show up. So
yeah,
just
that's
let your
when I
hair
fuck
get-
shit up.
get styled in whatever ways.
See, David's learned. Let me do shit.
Be like, okay, Ray,
If you
Go
say
wild.
no.
do what you want. Do what you want with my hair.
Oh, I saw that coming. Oh my god. I would make it pink too. Fuck.
You're not gonna color my hair while we're there. No.
Come
I
on,
did
you
that
gotta
in
let
high
it happen.
school.
Just let
Some
it happen.
dude wanted highlights. I took him into the girls' bathroom, gave him highlights. It was amazing.
That's so
I don't
weird.
think that would be amazing. No.
No, we had to run to all different bathrooms, so we kind of got kicked out. So we went to another bathroom, and I had to bring him in there.
So
and it was
how about
really
we'll just
weird.
bring those.
That's pretty
we'll
weird if
bring
you're doing
it
a
to
dude's
RTX, we'll bring
highlights
hair,
in a
like,
girl's bathroom.
like
That's so
really
funny.
quick reacting hair sprays, and just try to sneak a shot at dark, and just completely color his hair like bright green or something.
Yeah.
Or just,
I
here's
think
what we
glue-
do.
I
We
think
just
glue
take a
would work on
paintbrush
that.
and a paint can, go up to him, paint his
Oh
head.
gosh.
That'll be easier. That'll stick.
It would, but it wouldn't look good. I've
No,
been
of course
completely
not.
covered
That's
in
not the
paint
point.
before.
We just want to make you green.
I like the color green.
Now I want
It's
to dye
pleasant.
my hair. God
You're
damn
gonna
it.
dye your hair green?
No, I just want to dye.
Come
it.
on, dye your hair green for me. It'll look good.
Oh fuck you, no.
I'll be your
my
number
sister
one
told me
fan.
to go back
Purple.
to my red colors. I don't think I'll get hired. I have to worry about finding a job
In Austin, you
on
can wear
the
purple
no
hair,
on the
by way.
sign in
This is
Austin,
we're
like if
talking
you
about.
want, it says now.
Yeah.
It says
Only
now
purple
hiring,
hair's
and then
welcome.
in little words under it, gotta have blue hair.
Seriously, in Austin, you can get away with
But
that.
yeah, the Austin is weird.
Yeah, blue hair and purple hair. It's very close to like black hair that looks almost blue. So yeah, you can get away with that. Have you ever seen someone with hair that was so black that it was like it looked blue
Well,
because it reflects the
there
the
is
sky
a
off
tint.
of
There
it?
is a blue
The
tint
blue,
that
black colors.
I know. A friend of mine, she did that in college, where she had really black hair, and it was a tint to where certain lighting you can really see it, and I thought that was cool because it didn't look completely blue. You really
Yeah.
couldn't. You had to really look at it, you know. And she got away with it at work.
I'm pale as it is. I don't need to do black. I did it once, and my dad was calling me Snow White forever.
Haha.
It's awful. I will never go that dark again.
It seems like a compliment.
Yeah.
He didn't mean it as a compliment. He makes fun of my pasty whiteness, as it is.
Twitch is back.
Though in the 1600s, I would have been hot.
You wouldn't even have to drink arsenic
Wow,
to keep
we're
your
at
skin
an hour
pale.
40.
Yeah, I'm just naturally that awesome. Except for nowadays, it's the whole tan bullshit.
Well, you can just kind of laugh at
Yeah.
everyone that puts themselves in the tanning beds because inevitably they're shortening their lifespan with cancer and all that. So
I don't think
And,
it's
and
worth
getting
this
wrinkles and all that
at all.
bullshit.
yeah.
Doesn't make sense. It's,
See, I like
there's
He's
a-
like,
yeah,
makeup's
it
dumb, that
really
stuff's dumb.
Just has this
He
like
doesn't give a shit, it's
unnatural
awesome.
look to it for a lot of
He's
people, and
secluded,
especially
he
when you
lives
go
under a rock.
overboard, it's awful.
Oh. I know. Makeup
He's all
pisses
about, like,
me
being
off so
natural.
badly.
It works.
And I pointed this out to my cousin the last time I was in Michigan. I'm like, it really, one of my pet peeves is when I'm looking at a cartoon character and they distinguish the male from female with long eyelashes, because that means that woman is wearing fake eyelashes because men naturally have longer eyelashes than women. So they're either wearing really heavy
Or a bow.
mascara or they're wearing fake eyelashes, which means that they're augmenting themselves in order to look feminine.
Sorry, ladies, we
And-
win with the eyelashes.
It's like, this.
That makes me so sad.
It's so like
It's
this
either a
idea
bow
is so
in your
ingrained
hair
into society.
or
Like people don't even
eyelashes
think
that
about
will,
it.
with the mascara like eyes, and that's instantly girl video game or TV show character.
Yeah, and it's
You need to look at David's eyelashes. It makes me
Alrighty
so
then.
sad. I'm very jealous. He has some serious eyelashes, and I have this bullshit. I have to like paint on. I will never wear fake ones, but I have to throw on mascara, and I will wake up with like raccoon eyes for days afterwards, even after I remove it. I hate it. Makeup's dumb.
Makeup
It is dumb.
Yeah.
It is dumb. And you know what else is dumb? High heels is dumb.
I
Oh,
have,
yeah,
I have to
fuck that
agree,
shit.
man. Like, I don't understand why girls walk around in those shoes because they're
Like,
just so.
They
They're,
think it makes their butt and legs look
sure,
better,
but
which
it's
No,
such a
technically
hassle.
does,
It's such a
but-
I
hassle.
can
They
see
just
that.
look
not only
uncomfortable.
not only that, but
It
I've had
looks
this
you
uncomfortable.
conversation.
spend $200
And
on a
then it
pair
breaks.
of high heels to go out,
Oh,
and
hell
then they
no.
can't dance or their feet hurt because they were dancing in them. What's the fucking point?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I've argued with my mother about this. I'm like, look, if you don't like wearing high heels because they're uncomfortable, don't fucking do it. And she's like, I have
she
to for my
doesn't.
job because I have to look professional. I'm like, you can wear flat-footed shoes and
here's
still
the
look
thing.
professional. This is something going on with your mind here, mental conditioning.
This
and you
is
need to
there's
get
a
the hell over it.
misconception that women are telling everyone else telling us, oh well, men want us to wear high heels. It's a sex appeal. No, we don't give a shit. Like Dave Chappelle once said this.
Oh yeah, it's already proven women dress
Well,
up to
yeah,
impress
exactly.
other women.
Dave
It's
Chappelle
not-
said this once. Quit thinking and saying that you're doing it because men don't give a shit. The only reason why a man has a house is because if he could, he'd fuck a girl in a cardboard box, but he can't, so he has to buy a house. I mean, there's quit.
Dave Chappelle does not speak for all of us, by the way.
Trust me. If you had a choice of getting laid in a cardboard box or having to buy a house and pay a note every month, and you would take the cardboard box 9 times out of 10.
I do have to say though, Mr. Fusion, in my defense, I don't live.
Poor David,
My existence doesn't
It doesn't?
revolve around getting laid on a daily basis.
That's a common misconception about dudes.
Yeah,
I don't know
I've got
about all
other
that.
things. I actually don't. Yeah, I actually, I don't know. I guess have a relatively low amount of sex, I suppose. Like when I actually have it, I really enjoy it. But I have so many other things I'd rather do than pursue sex constantly. I like to have other interests.
You like it to be organic.
Yeah, that's always the best sex too. When you don't expect it and you're like, "Whoa, where did this come from?" I don't know, but I like
Kind of
it.
like an onion ring in your basket of fries, or what?
Exactly. When you don't see it coming, that's when it's always the best.
Well, you're going to see this coming. We're at an hour and 45 minutes. I think it's time to wrap up.
Wow.
Whoa! Hey, talk about coming. No, there's one more thing. There is one thing I want
Go
to
ahead,
pimp
Pimp.
out
Yeah.
before we.
Boy.
All right, I want to pimp out Lovewave's Metal Gear Rising.
Because I actually
series. Have
want
you
to
guys
play
been watching
that
that
game.
at all?
I'm like, the spoilers.
No, I've seen 'em
It's on our
posted.
channel.
I actually care about Metal Gear's universe so much.
He's doing a good job. It's pretty funny. So,
Good job, Upwave. This is a shout out to you and your skills.
and then on top of that, follow us on
Fred.
Twitter at the Forum Fred. Like us on
Forum
Facebook
Fred.
and subscribe to us on YouTube. That's my bit. I'm done.
You know, you could have done that a little bit better, I think. Next time, I want you to do a better job, okay?
Part sucked. It all sucked.
The whole thing. That
The whole thing
didn't
sucked.
come off as very organic.
You have to-
that sounded like you were really struggling. You need to have a better spiel.
Okay.
For your failure, Tejan, you have to draw me as a little cartoon like you do everyone
No,
else.
disregard everything Ray's saying now and just do what I
No,
told you.
no.
Because
it's
you
more
draw
dark.
good, and
Listen
I'd like
to
to
the
see
Why am I
your
doing
art.
cartoons?
You're
Because
not.
I want you to.
Be
Okay.
sure you get her pale skin down just right.
Well, I don't color
Yeah.
it,
So
so
just don't
everybody's
color
He's
the
just going
skin
to draw an
outline
is
outline
either
on white paper. With no
That's
eyelashes.
all of his fucking doodle. Oh.
It's established. Ray doesn't have any eyelashes.
They're just not very black. I have some red ginger stuff in me. I'm sorry. I can't help the ginge.
The ginge.
I
I'm
know,
more
you were
ginge
born
other
without a
places,
soul.
and on top of my
we
head,
know.
it makes no sense.
In other places.
Oh
you mean
no,
you're a fire crotch?
No, not that bad. It's a bit more auburn. It's not pure
What are
orange.
you doing over there, Fusion?
Okay.
Who's
I
making
am.
the noise?
still talking about hair.
Fusion
I
doesn't
don't
want to
wanna-
know about my
Yeah,
shoes. It's
like the
okay.
muff talk, we can save that. That's drunken
The
banter.
muff
I'm fine with it.
Really?
And,
You're a straight
and then
male.
dark.
Like,
no,
let's
no,
talk about
that's funny
vaginas.
that-
Oh God.
that-
Because
No, there's a
Oh, I
difference
guess
between
they're,
talking about vaginas and talking about a friend's vagina.
A friend?
Chaos won't.
Are we
or
friends?
Chaos,
You don't want to hear about my vagina because we're friends?
Mr. Fusion won't
Yes.
be able to picture you without thinking about the color of your pubes.
It's not that red, but it is
Oh,
red
dude,
It's
enough
not like a
to
clown
be
wig,
noticeable.
right?
No, it's like a nice auburn. Like I wish my hair was
Chaos.
that color.
Next
wish the
time,
hair on
just
my
when
head
she starts
matched, I
unzipping
would
her
be
pants,
so
just start
happy.
going.
So the first time she unzips her pants.
No, this is the first time we have real intercourse.
Yeah, I'm just trying to imagine what scenario I would ever be in where I would see Ray unzip her pants. and
Oh,
I'm
trust me, I'm
picturing
sure
nothing
if we
right now,
we
so.
have a few drinks at RTX, I'm sure.
So that's a great place to end the
think so.
podcast, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, yeah, this is
Unless
true. If
someone
we
just
all
wants
have
to
enough
see
drinks
'em,
together,
'cause I don't
eventually
care.
someone's gonna get naked.
I don't know about all that. But...
Yeah.
We'll put bets on it.
I'll get naked if anyone wants. I don't care.
All right.
All right, everybody. We thank you for joining
Do the
joining
sign
us
off.
on this
I
weird.